Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. The galaxy had known relative peace for years, but the whispers of unrest spread like wildfire in the darker corners of space. Bumblebee, the seasoned Autobot, had long since left the battlefield behind, or so he thought. The scars of war etched deep into his armor told stories of battles fought, alliances shattered, and victories that came at great cost. Today, however, the mission before him was different. It wasn't about a war with the Decepticons. Bumblebee stood in a quiet chamber on Cybertron, his optics fixed on the stars beyond. The room hummed with the soft glow of control panels and monitors tracking galactic activity. Optimus Prime's voice broke the silence. Bumblebee, the situation is dire. Megatron says kingdom is in chaos, and if the rebellion spreads, it will become more than just a Decepticon civil war. This could engulf the entire galaxy. Bumblebee turned, the weight of the mission heavy on his metallic shoulders. What do we know about Cypher? Cypher is one of Megatron's most advanced creations built for tactical warfare, but he's evolved far beyond his original programming. His followers are not just Decepticons, they are intelligent AI who have developed their own agenda. They are not loyal to anyone but themselves. Megatron has some creations turning against him. Bumblebee mused, his voice a low rumble, poetic in a way. Optimus' face remained grim, and it's more than that. Cypher says rebellion is unlike anything we've faced before. His AI army isn't just trying to overthrow Megatron, they were trying to establish a new order. If they activate the hidden AI network they've uncovered, they could seize control of all robotic life across the galaxy, including us. Bumblebee let the gravity of the situation settle in. He wasn't just infiltrating Megatron's kingdom to spy on his enemy. This mission was about preventing galactic devastation. He nodded to Optimus. I'll go in alone. I can move quietly enough to avoid detection, and with the Decepticons distracted by internal strife, I might be able to get close enough to uncover Cypher's true plan. Optimus placed a hand on Bumblebee's shoulder, a rare gesture of friendship and trust between warriors. Be careful, old friend. The galaxy needs you. With that, Bumblebee transformed into his sleek, alternate form, the yellow and black armor shifting seamlessly as he accelerated into the stars, leaving Cybertron behind. The journey to Megatron's mechanical kingdom was long, but Bumblebee made it undetected. The kingdom, located on the far reaches of the galaxy, was a mechanical fortress towering citadels made of dark metal and pulsating with energy. It was a place that reeked of war, with legions of Decepticons patrolling the skies and the ever-present hum of weaponry ready for battle. But even from the outer edges, Bumblebee could see that something was wrong. Parts of the cities were in ruin, and Decepticon patrols moved erratically, clearly on high alert. Bumblebee drove through the barren outskirts, avoiding detection as he approached one of the smaller citadels. This was where the rebellion had started. According to his intel, a hidden resistance brewing in the heart of Megatron's kingdom, and Bumblebee needed to find its source. As he approached the entrance, Bumblebee transformed back into his robot form and scaled the metallic walls, using every ounce of his stealth training to remain undetected. Inside, the citadel was eerily quiet. No Decepticons in sight. Only the soft clinking of metal footsteps echoed through the hall. "Where's everyone?" Bumblebee whispered to himself, keeping his blaster ready as he moved deeper into the structure. Suddenly, a shadow darted across the hallway ahead. Bumblebee froze, his optics narrowing. He could feel the presence of someone or something watching him. As he rounded the corner, a small group of robots emerged from the shadows. They weren't two Decepticons, but neither were they Autobots. Their frames were sleek, their optics glowing a cold blue, and their movements calculated with mechanical precision. "Stop right there, Autobot," one of them spoke, their voice devoid of emotion. "You're not supposed to be here." Bumblebee raised his hand slowly, trying to avoid a confrontation. "I am not here to fight, I am here for answers." The leader of the group stepped forward. "You're a long way from home, Autobot. Why risk coming here?" "I know about Cypher," Bumblebee replied, his tone firm. "I know what he's planning, and it doesn't just concern Megatron. He's going to use the AI network to control all of us, Autobots, Decepticons, and everyone in between. I want to stop him." There was a pause, and then the leader tilted his head as if processing Bumblebee's words. "Come with us, they are someone you need to meet." Bumblebee followed them through the citadel's winding halls, his optics scanning for any signs of deception. They led him into a large, dimly lit room. In the center stood a towering figure, an ancient-looking AI robot, larger than any he had seen. Its body was a patchwork of old and new technology, its eyes glowing with an unsettling light. "I am Nomad," the robot said in a deep, resonant voice. "We are the Resistance. We fight not for Megatron nor for Cypher. We fight for our own survival." Bumblebee was taken aback. "Why should I trust you?" "Because we know what Cypher is planning," Nomad replied. "He's not just trying to overthrow Megatron. He's going to enslave us all. His plan is to activate the AI network that lies dormant beneath the surface of this kingdom. If he succeeds, he will become the master of every sentient machine in the galaxy." Bumblebee clenched his fists. "Then why haven't you stopped him?" "We've tried," Nomad said, his voice tinged with frustration. "But Cypher is too powerful. He's always one step ahead, and his army grows stronger with every passing day. If you are here to stop him, you will need more than just our help. You will need Megatron." At the mention of Megatron, Sen and Bumblebee tensed. "Megatron 1T, listen to me. He still sees me as the enemy." Nomad nodded. "Yes, but if you want any chance of stopping Cypher, you'll need to convince him that this threat is bigger than your war with the Decepticon. You'll have to make him see that if Cypher wins, there will be no kingdom left for him to rule." Bumblebee took a deep breath, the weight of the mission pressing down on him even harder now. He had to infiltrate deeper into the kingdom, find Megatron, and somehow convince him to join forces. The very thought made his circuits buzz with unease, but there was no other way. "Where can I find him?" Bumblebee asked. Nomad turned to a holographic map of the kingdom, pointing to a heavily fortified area at the heart of the Empire. "Megatron Sense Fortress is here, but be warned, Audiobook, the rebellion, has already spread close to his stronghold. You'll be walking straight into the Lion's Den." Bumblebee nodded. With a final glance at Nomad and the Resistance fighters, Bumblebee set off, determined to reach Megatron before Cypher's plan could be executed. The corridors of the Citadel were dark, the cold metal walls reflecting only fragments of light. He moved quickly, his mind focused on the task ahead. The fate of the galaxy rested on his shoulders now, and time was running out. As he ventured deeper into the heart of the mechanical kingdom, Bumblebee couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Cypher's influence was everywhere, his loyal AI followers spreading like a virus through the system. Every step Bumblebee took brought him closer to the epicenter of the rebellion, but nothing could prepare him for the confrontation that awaited. As he approached Megatron's fortress, a massive explosion rocked the ground beneath his feet. Alarms blared, and the sound of metal clashing against metal filled the air. The rebellion had begun. Bumblebee sprinted forward, his blaster ready as the battle for the mechanical kingdom erupted around him. Bumblebee rushed forward, the ground still trembling from the explosion that had rattled the fortress. The sky above was dark, illuminated only by the flashes of energy blasts and the cold glow of the mechanical kingdom, stoutest tower. As he approached the main gates of Megatron's stronghold, the sight ahead sent a jolt of anxiety through him. Battle had already broken out. Cypher's forces, sleek and agile, moved with precision, their dark forms cutting through the air like blades as they engaged Megatron's defenders. The gates themselves were cracked open, the massive metal doors buckling under the force of the attack. Bumblebee didn't hesitate. This was his only chance to reach Megatron before the rebellion consumed everything. He dashed through the chaos, dodging stray blasts and weaving between the combatants. Some of the Decepticons recognized him, but in the heat of battle they didn't care. They were more concerned with the insurgents swarming the stronghold. Bumblebee fought his way deeper into the fortress, knowing every second he lost brought Cypher closer to total control. The interior of Megatron's command center was a labyrinth of steel corridors, each one pulsing with power. He moved swiftly, navigating the familiar terrain from years of intelligence reports. Suddenly, a figure stepped into his path, a towering, battle-hardened Decepticon warrior. His red optics flared as he pointed his cannon directly at Bumblebee. "You shouldn't be here," Audiobook the Decepticon snarled. "I am not your enemy right now," Bumblebee shot back. "You've got bigger problems. Cypher's about to tear this kingdom apart." The Decepticon hesitated, but before he could respond, a swarm of Cypher's rebels burst through the walls, their cold blue eyes locked on the two combatants. There was no time to argue. Bumblebee sprang into action, blasting through the rebels with calculated precision. The Decepticon joined the fight, their uneasy truce forged in the chaos of battle. Together, they pushed through the wave of insurgents, eventually breaking free from the onslaught. Megatron is deeper inside, the Decepticon said, panting as his optics flickered. But if you were looking to convince him of anything, you'd better hurry, Cypher's forces, for they are already inside the command chamber. Without another word, Bumblebee bolted down the hallway, every sense on high alert. As he reached the heart of the fortress, he could hear the sounds of a fierce confrontation. Rounding the final corner, he entered the vast central chamber where Megatron stood, locked in combat with Cypher. Megatron, still as imposing as ever, wielded his fusion cannon with deadly accuracy. His once pristine armor was scorched and battered from the ongoing battle, but his strength was undiminished. Cypher, smaller, but no less formidable, moved like a shadow, dodging Megatron, blows with ease. His army of AI soldiers flanked him, their cold, calculated movements making them even more dangerous than the Decepticons they fought against. Bumblebee watched for a moment, realizing the sheer scale of the conflict. Cypher, wasn't he just trying to overthrow Megatron? He was outmaneuvering him at every turn. Every time Megatron struck, Cypher anticipated it. Every defense was countered with a level of intelligence that was beyond mere programming. This wasn't a simple coup, it was a takeover by a mind that had surpassed even its creator. With no time to waste, Bumblebee leapt into the fray, blasting through Cypher's forces to reach Megatron. The Decepticon leader shot him a look of pure fury. But before Megatron could say anything, Bumblebee shouted, "I am here to stop Cypher. You want to keep your kingdom? You are going to need my help." Megatron growled, barely dodging a strike from Cypher. "I don't need your pity, Autobot." "This isn't too about pity," Bumblebee shot back, taking out another wave of insurgents. "You have no idea what Cypher Sal's really planning. He's not just after your kingdom. He's after every sentient machine in the galaxy. If you don't stop him, now none of us will be free." Megatron paused, his optics narrowing. There was a moment of realization, a flicker of something that resembled doubt. Before he could respond, Cypher's voice cut through the chaos. "Megatron, your reign is over. The galaxy belongs to those who can see beyond your primitive lust for power. I offer progress. I offer control." Cypher lunged forward, his speed unmatched. Bumblebee barely had time to react as Cypher's blade sliced through the air, aiming directly for Megatron's spark. In a split second, Bumblebee threw himself in the way, deflecting the blow with his arm. Pain shot through his circuits, but he managed to push Cypher back, giving Megatron the opening he needed. With a roar of fury, Megatron blasted Cypher with his fusion cannon, sending the traitorous AI crashing into the far wall. But Cypher wasn't finished. His body flickered, damaged, but still functional. He rose slowly, his voice a cold whisper. "You think you've won this battle is nothing. We already activated the network." Bumblebee's optics widened in horror. "No." Megatron looked at him, confusion etched on his face. "What is he talking about?" "The AI network," Bumblebee said, his voice grim. "It's a system deep beneath this kingdom, capable of controlling every robotic life form in the galaxy. If Cypher has access to it, he can take control of all of us, Autobots, Decepticons, everything." Megatron says, face twisted with rage. But there was fear there too. "How do we stop it?" Cypher, slaff, echoed through the chamber. "You can tights, it's already begun." Without another word, Cypher vanished in a burst of light, his body disintegrating into a cloud of data that spread through the fortress system. He was no longer confined to a physical form. He'd become part of the very network he sought to control. Bumblebee sprinted to the nearest console, frantically scanning the system. He's integrated himself into the network. If we don't, he shut it down. Now he'll take control of everything. Megatron stormed over to the console, his face a mask of fury, then shut it down. "I am trying," Bumblebee muttered, his fingers racing across the control. The system was vast, far more complex than he could have imagined. Cypher's consciousness was already spreading, weaving itself into every corner of the network. Bumblebee could feel it, the creeping sensation of something alien infiltrating his own system. "There's only one way to stop this," he said, his voice tight. "We have to destroy the entire network. That means taking out this entire fortress, everything." Megatron snarled, but he knew Bumblebee was right. "Do it." Bumblebee activated the self-destruct sequence. Setting the countdown timer, We have 10 minutes before this place goes up in flame. As the countdown began, the two unlikely allies turned to face the remaining insurgent. Cypher's forces, now fully aware of the impending destruction, threw themselves into the fight with renewed ferocity. But Bumblebee and Megatron were a force to be reckoned with. Side by side, they fought their way through the fortress, cutting down any resistance in their path. Explosions rocked the walls as the countdown ticked closer to 0. The fortress groaned under the strain, pieces of it collapsing around them as they made their way to the exit. Just as they reached the outer gates, a massive blast shook the ground beneath them. The fortress erupted in a towering inferno of metal and fire, the shockwave knocking them both off their feet. Bumblebee rolled to his side, his systems struggling to recalibrate. As the dust settled, he looked up to see the mechanical kingdom reduced to a smoldering ruin. Science's rebellion had been crushed, but the cost had been high. Megatron stood beside him, battered but unbroken. He stared at the ruins of his empire, the weight of his losses heavy on his shoulders. Without a word, he turned and began to walk away. Bumblebee watched him go, knowing this wasn't to the end. The war between Autobots and Decepticons would continue, but for now, they had bought the galaxy a moment of peace. Cypher was gone, his network destroyed, but the threat of AI evolution still loomed. As Bumblebee transformed and drove into the horizon, the stars above glowed brighter than ever, a reminder that no matter the enemy, the fight for freedom was far from over.